Whatever makes your soul happy, do that. Remember, you saw this before, but how do you become a success? Success means different things for different people. Some people want $1 million. Other people want to own a business. Other people just want enough just to get by. Other people want that house that will make them a success. Okay, in their mind, that's what they want. New clothes, new shoes. But there's a process to get there. You can't just overnight sometimes go boom, 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 unless you're going to hit the lottery. And some people can't even handle their lottery money. So they're not a success. But to be a success in yourself, that's what you're trying to do. Number one, you have to have a goal. I call them reflections because goals are cut in stone. It's like goal 1, goal 2. I call them reflections, but I'll call them goals, so not to confuse anyone. You have to have a goal. And sometimes goals. You have to decide, what is it that I want to do? It may be some little goals underneath them or reflections. And you can't have them set in stone. They change over time. That's why I don't do New Year's resolutions. I'm going to lose weight by this date. This is this year. And then when you don't do it, deep inside yourself, you're a failure. Nobody said anything about it. Some of them have forgot that you even said you were going to lose weight. Or if they did remember, they're not saying anything. And you're just feeling like a failure. The only person that's making you feel like that is you. Even if a person comes out and tells you you're a failure, you look at them and you say, no, I'm not. Because you're going to fix the failure. That's what you should do. Or quit making yourself feel bad for other people. Some people are jealous and you probably did not fail. They are really surprised that you tried to get to that dream and they're not saying anything. So get your goal together, a goal or goals, and how are you going to achieve that goal? And also learn to make decisions. Decisions about your life. Decisions of what you're going to do. Decisions whether you're going to have cream today in your coffee. Decisions whether you're going to have sugar and get rid of the fake sugar. Raw sugar maybe. Maybe you're going to try something else in your tea, milk. Pretty good. Make decisions. If you're trying to be a leader, you have to make decisions. Leaders make decisions for other people. Okay, at your job, if you're not the manager is making decisions for the company for you to do. If that's not a position you want to be in, you have to think goals. How am I going to get up out of this job like I did? I told you, I walked away from my job. I didn't just walk away. I thought about it. I planned it. I didn't just get up and go, okay, I quit. I planned that thing out for 9 months up to a year. The seed started a year ahead, and then by the time 3 months went by, because I was wishy-washy, I didn't decide yet, and I was trying to figure out, what are we doing? How am I going to keep my income? Money's the chain of it all. Okay, you can't just walk off sometimes because you have things to pay for. You have things to do. So you have to plan what you're going to do. So I just saved up my income for a year. I just saved it up, spent as little as possible so that I could live on a year's income and say, okay, if not, I'm going to another place and get another job. If I can't get this together, okay. But you have to decide what you're going to do. I had to make a decision. You have to make that decision. It may not be at the moment what's best for somebody else, but is it best for you? You have to have a vision, a dream. In the Bible with Solomon, where there is no vision, the people perish. If you don't have a vision, you're dying inside. You have no reason to do anything. You just go through the motions. Okay, I got to get up. It's time to go to work. Got to drive way over here. Here I am. Let me stop and get a cup of coffee. Let me get something for breakfast. In I go. Paperwork, blah, blah, blah. Talk to a few people. Hey, how you doing? Oh, they're having donut day on Friday. Oh, well, let me chip in. Somebody's having a birthday. You're going through the motion. You have no thrill in life, if you really think about it. If you really sat back, that is your day. It is totally boring. That's your week. It's totally boring. I didn't want a boring week. Okay, my day is always filled with something. It may be a lot of something where you're just like, okay, I'm exhausted, and we had to take a vacation. It's like, okay, we have not been on vacation since COVID. You couldn't get out during COVID. It was like nothing. I said, mini vacay. Chicago, here we come. Regardless of what's going on or what they say is going on in Chicago, and there was nothing going on in Chicago. It was just fine. You keep listening to news and they will tell you all this stuff's going on. You're at the wrong place in the wrong time. You got to step it up a little bit and go someplace else and get away from all the madness. Chicago's fine. But you can't lose your thrill for life. I haven't lost my thrill for life. If I had stayed in that job, I would have lost my thrill for life. I was teaching. I was tired of it. Tired of whatever, mostly some of the teachers that are, they lost their thrill. Everything to them, teaching was, controlled. Teachers don't have a lot of control. And when you're in that position, some people want to move up. They don't want to be a principal, but they want to be over the other teachers. I'll do this, I'll do that. I know some of you teachers, you know what I'm talking about. Some of these people, they just kept going, and we were getting more and more of that type of person at the school I was at. And it was like bump, and I wasn't trying to climb anywhere. I just stayed at, I'm teaching the kids. I don't need to know about all this other stuff and stuff going on with you and whatever's happening. And I just finally made a decision. It's time to go. You're not happy. You're not happy. Yes, I love teaching the kids. Yes, that was one of my dreams. I left one big dream to come to this little dream of teaching. And everybody thought I was crazy. You're leaving this big job, this big corporate to go, yes, that's what I'm doing. Bye. And then it got to be, don't want to do that one anymore. Okay, got to get out of here. Okay, think ahead. What am I going to do? But that's what you have to do sometimes if you're getting ready to do your vision, your dream. Okay, if you're on Etsy, maybe you want to be the biggest Etsy seller on Etsy. You may not make it. There may be failures, but you're going to be glad you took some steps, some accomplishment to get where you need to be. And you may actually hit that goal, that dream, that reflection. That's your vision. Or maybe that's what you want to do, period. I just want to stay home and make printables. Okay, you're happy. That's what you want to do. You should do something that you're dreaming, that you want to be happy. And people shouldn't be crushing down other people's goals, but they do. So I had made a decision. I didn't tell my friends or my family about my goal, what I was going to do. I'm leaving work. I'm leaving. I didn't say anything. I just left. When the time came, I went boom. And of course, you hear the thing, you left your job? Yes. And I cut it. I'm like, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about what we were talking about. I am fine. And I was. But you have to make goals. They may be small goals. Make one big goal and then figure out how the steps up under it you're going to get there. And you have to have confidence in yourself, not everybody else. You have to have that confidence that I'm going to make it. I'm going to do something. I may not do it the way everybody else is doing it, but I'm going to do it. You got to be good. And once you get there, you build that confidence and you figure out what you're going to do. Okay, and be good at what you do. You may have to go to school. You may have to go on YouTube. You may have to go online to school. You may just want to look at a bunch of videos. Schooling sometimes does not work, which we have found out, that some schools don't teach what others need to learn. There's some people, they're tired of school. It does not get them to where they are going. Some people are great. My uncle is a great auto mechanic. He couldn't deal with school. They didn't have a program for him to go learn auto mechanics. He didn't have to have a certificate to go be an auto mechanic. A lot of the soldiers came out, and my dad and my uncles and them, and they learned in the Army, or they learned around the corner with the other auto mechanics. But all of a sudden it was, oh, you got to have a certificate. I think the certificate was a way of, in my opinion, keeping minorities separate. You got to have a certificate. College was a way to keep a lot of minorities separate. You got to go to college. But when you get to college, you sit there and wonder, why am I here? I already learned this myself. I didn't need that. If you're going to be administrative assistant, executive assistant, okay, it was considered you're a secretary, you're moving up, oh, I got to go back. I remember my girlfriend, I got to go back and take these courses. You're doing the same thing you were before without taking the courses. She'd graduated from high school with me, but they're making you to go take these courses. But you're doing the same thing because you wanted a raise. And she got a very tiny raise. Wasn't nothing to brag about, but that sometimes this education system is not thinking, and it's a way sometimes to keep the minorities separate. It's like, go back to school. Well, why? I already got it. I told you, I don't know how many times I have taught school, and nothing I learned in college had nothing to do with my school. With me teaching. I learned that after I started teaching. I learned more after I started teaching in the beginning. My other jobs, I learned as I went. I had other jobs. They taught me as I went. They did not tell me to go back to school. And it was fine. And then when you go back to school, this is what gets me if you go to college. They have you take all these other courses. How come we can't take what we're interested in and leave? Because it's about money. Okay, you got to take psychology. I'm not going to be a psychologist. Why got to take a psychology? You pay more money. Why do I got to take math? I'm not teaching math. For what? All I need is basics so I can add up my donut and coffee in the morning and make sure they got it right. I'm not interested. They make you take all this fluff. And you probably would, if they wouldn't do that, you probably would come back and go do something else. For a while it was like they had the teachers, you have to go get your master's degree. Okay? I finished my master's degree, let me tell you, 10 months. In 10 months. And I was working. My college advisor he wasn't caring what I did. Okay? I sat there, I'd get off of work, and I had classes that started at 4 o'clock, and I would ram every class I could take on every evening. I could take all the way through to Saturday. I had Sunday off. I was just not staying there. It was not, and it wasn't interesting. I was getting my master's to get a pay increase, plus they had said, eventually you got to get your master's. Okay, because they had different types of certificates. One certificate was only, you had to keep renewing it. The other certificate renewed for so many years. And I wanted another type of certificate, which was a permanent certificate, which said you never have to renew this ever again. You can teach if you're 90 and you still got your certificate without somebody taking something away from me. But see, they learned that wasn't working because a lot of teachers were getting the permanent certificate and they were going, oh no, we can't get rid of them. Okay, the system finds a way to try to get rid of people or do things, and the pay scale was more, oh, we can't pay these people with permanent certificates, and a lot of them, people were getting them just gun-ho. All of a sudden, things stop. When it's about money, things stop. And I always watch that all the time. Why is this stopping? Money. Okay? Money. You're getting more money than I am. Remember jealousy? It's not the money. Money is a piece of paper. It's jealousy. You're making more than I am. I was making more than some of the principals that were starting out because I got my permanent certificate and it paid more. So that's what happens in life. But I had the confidence. You have to combat some of that. You got to have the confidence. You got to go beyond what you do to get to things. So if you want something different and you want to be a success at that particular thing, get your confidence together and say, I can do it. I used to hate to walk into a room with a bunch of people. I learned confidence. They didn't know I didn't like to do it. I hated a bunch of people just sitting around. I just didn't want anybody. It was like, I don't want you looking at me. Don't look at me. Don't look up. But you can't stop people from looking at you. And I had to do the confidence. I'm walking into that room. Whether you're white, black, green, yellow, I don't care what color you are, orange, I'm coming. I'm coming on in. I had to master a fear. You got to master the fear. You got to keep doing it over and over again. I walk into a room, I take a breath, I kept coming in. And it was just a simple thing. People may have thought it was crazy in my mind, but I just had that fear. I just didn't want, I was like, they're judging me. And I didn't know whether they were judging me or not. It was just a room full of people. And then I found out nobody cares but you. Just go on in. And when I walk in, it's with confidence. I walk in, I may look at you in the eye. I might wave at you. I might say, hello, how are you? I may size you up and go, no, we're not talking to that one today. But I would just walk in. Fear will disappear if you confront it. If you don't confront it, it's going to be there every time. And you have to take that deep breath and just go on with whatever you're trying to do to be a success. Just tell yourself fear has no place in your life at all. It's not going to be there. You're not going to have that fear. It's got no place to go. If you're trying to be a success, sometimes you have to educate yourself in different ways. YouTube is probably the best way to educate yourself. If you can't figure something out, you type the words in and you just keep typing until you find it. Because somewhere, somebody has made a video because they figured out it was a problem there. Somebody's looking for me. Okay, I had a problem. I kept thinking, I said, I want to make scratch-offs. I kept asking questions on YouTube to other cash budgeters, right? Probably to the wrong person, but, I just wanted to know. How do you make them? What's going on? I just was fascinated for a minute. Nobody answered that I asked. Nobody said anything. And where did I go? I went to YouTube. I said, let me look on here. Let me hit Google. Oh, okay, that's easy. Something simple. Where do you, where do you get it? Where do you get this stuff? What are you doing? Just typing, looking. You have to educate yourself because nobody else is going to help you. And I was thinking, nobody's going to help. Nobody has ever helped. And you need to stand up and go figure it out. Because I wanted to do scratch-offs for the low-income people to get more money from Etsy or wherever we decide to sell them at, which we did. We did our first batch at the conference we went to, and people wanted them, and that's what we did. And I took all that money, and I'm going to double it and put it in the homeless thing. But you educate yourself, because some of them just thought it was just fascinating. They had never seen the scratch-off before. Like, what's that? That's cool. I'm going to put that in my wallet. and just carry it around and do that and save some money, and I'll have extra money for whatever they were thinking of. You know, they didn't care whether it was low income. It could have been $20. It's like $20 more in my wallet. The men were jumping at it. They'd never seen it before. And it was just, but if I didn't have the courage to go on to educate myself and tell myself, okay, forgive them, they didn't know not what they do. Okay, they just don't want to help, don't want to say anything. And it wasn't like they had a lot of subscribers where you don't see everybody. Okay, it was like nothing. You're not telling me a blessed thing. It was like, oh, have a nice day. Okay. I just asked a question. I'm sorry to trample on your parade. Or you may think I'm trampling. I'm not. But you have to they plant that seed in me that I got to go educate in myself and to make more seeds, make that plant grow and throw out some more seeds. And we did. And we're at the convention and the seeds blew up at the convention. Just the opposite of what we were thinking. But you have to plant that seed so that you have that idea. Those ideas are going to come. Brainstorm. Put a little circle in the middle of a piece of paper and just like we used to do, draw lines and write down, how am I going to get there? How am I going to accomplish this? Okay? And start with your important things first. If you were to write a book, is your important thing to do, and you decide, no, I'm going to do number one, put your easy thing at the bottom instead of at the top. People put their easy things at the top. It's like cleaning house. Number one, I'm going to do the living room. Number two, I'm going to do the kitchen. Number three, they just keep on, and then maybe the toilet is last, right? Do the hard one first that you hate. It's the most important thing. It's at the top. You are done, and finish the rest when you get to it. If you got an important thing that you're supposed to do for your business, do the one that's the most important. It's first. It's the one that's going to go. The easy one at the bottom, you can do anytime. It's just going to be there to hold everything up. And you may not even have to do it. And you work fast at it. You have an urgency. I'm going to do this now. I'm going to do it fast. I'm going to do it quick. I'm going to write down the goals for it. I got it done. I'm going to make that pamphlet. I'm going to make that workbook. I'm going to make that budget planner. That's at the top. That's your goal right there. Put your steps down of how you're going to write that out. Who are you going to contact? Where is it going to go? How do I get it on Amazon? How do I get it on Etsy, which some people won't help you do because they're jealous. So you got to educate yourself. Look on YouTube. Ask some companies some questions. People are scared to call companies. I would call a company in a minute. How do you do? Oh, we do that. Oh, okay. Really? Companies are very helpful, although some people hate them because of the corporate type thing. But they will steer you. How did that happen? You know, I call Amazon all the time. How do you do this? People go, we can't get a hold of Amazon. I can get a hold of Amazon. I can get a hold of any company. Directly, I start calling because I don't bother them. Some people bother companies. They don't want to talk to you. You know, if you're screaming and hollering at somebody, who wants to pick up the phone? Nobody. You don't want to pick up the phone. So, urgency, quickly, and think things through and learn from your setbacks. If you have failure helps you to learn. It should not be bringing you down. Oh, that didn't work. Uh-oh. I was cooking dinner. I burned the lasagna. Well, next time you probably won't. You will sit there and look at the timer. You'll go make it so you're not a failure. I need a timer. Maybe the stove's timer is broken. I need to get a new stove. Learn from your setbacks. Learn from your failures. and say, oh, that was a little setback. Let me get back to work. Let me fix that. Let me get this together. It's like your budget. Get this together. I spent too much money. It's a setback. Okay, like I did. January, February, and March, I was on a no spend because I had a major setback. You know, Christmas had come. I was excited because I had saved some money, and too much money went out, kind of. It was like, oh, that's too much for me. Enough to give me a brain swab I needed. And I went, okay, no spend. January was the worst no spend I could get through. I could hardly get through it after the first week. It was like, I'm not spending any money. I am dying. You know, the kids were getting, here's a cup of coffee. Don't you buy it. You're on no spend. And it wasn't every day. I didn't get a cup of coffee every day. It was like once a week. I'm sitting there going, okay, I got to get the drink what I got here at home. Got to do this. Everything was from the envelopes that I need to spend. Groceries, blah, blah, blah. I did not spend anything extra. I did not drive too far. I was not spending too much gas money where I had to go into another envelope and get the thing. It was horrible in January. I said I got through January by the third week. I was okay. I got so okay that by the beginning of February, before February got here, I went, I'm going to do this in February. February went just as smooth. Got through February, I'm going to do this in March. Went through March, and then I finally said, okay, I can't because Easter's was coming. And I said, I got to do a little bit more, but I was fine. I had saved for Easter. I had saved for all this stuff. And things got a little bit better. You have to learn from your setbacks. And I learned that if I overspend, you know what I do? I go on no spend rough. It's like this is your punishment for going crazy. If you're going crazy, you're done. Next month, you're done. You're toast. And I mean total toast. Okay, you're not doing spending anything. And that was my thing towards setback. That stopped me. And any setback I do, if I can't get it done, I'm going to figure out, is there somebody else that can help me fix this? I'm not going to shelve it. Can I fix it? Can I fix my budget where I can have it where not as much money going out and make it easier for me? I hate doing budgets. Okay, budgets just, everybody hates doing budgets. But I made it where, like I said, I did a whole different budget. I put everything that I'm going to spend that can go on a credit card, that's where it goes. Because I need a different outlet for my money anxiety. And I said, it's so much easier for me, it may not be for you, to everything that I owe to go on a credit card and just pay the mortgage and the car and whatever cannot be put on a credit card at this moment, and just pay them, and the budget just eased out. It was like, I'm calm. I'm not sitting there worrying about, do I got this dollar? No, the credit card took it and went whoop. And I said, then I just pay the credit card off at the end of the month or beginning before the next month. And sometimes I don't have to. If I don't want to, that credit card can hold the next month. You can just keep on going. And my debt has went a little bit faster for doing that. You don't have to do that, but I noticed my debt went, okay, it's going in, the credit card's taken out, the credit card's getting paid off, blah, blah, boom, 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 boom. And it's just kind of easing in and out. And I'm a lot calmer, and things are going. And it's okay because I can still go. And I use my credit card for my expenses. Even when I'm out. If I have to go out and purchase something, it's for the expenses only. I have my personal credit card that I use to get coffee and stuff. But everything is right there. There's a record there for me to look at. And I'm okay. I had to find some kind of way because it was a setback for me. I felt like it was kind of a failure. I said I can't cash stuff all the time because eventually I'm going to get another house. And if I do have to get a loan, I'm betting on this house helping to pay off the other house. But if I do have to get a loan, it'll probably be a small one. Probably about $25,000 or something so I can get some furniture and stuff in there. But I don't want Nothing to hold me back and them saying, oh no, you can't get it because your money's been flowing in and out. And I know them. Okay, and I may find a house that's way more and I have to get a loan. 200,000 or whatever extra besides what cash I have from this house, because that's the house that I would want. So I have to be prepared at all times. I may not even need it. I may not, this may be me thinking about it, but this is my steps. Remember, steps. You take steps to protect yourself in case something happens. God took steps. He did steps. He worked in days. He did this on the first day, this on the second day, and then he did the rest. He went all through all his steps, and then he said, okay, I got it. I'm done. We're here. He didn't just throw everything out there. You got to plan your action. Even with the setbacks that are going to happen. God had setbacks. Adam and Eve were a party by themselves. And he had setbacks and he had worries. He had doubts. He even said, I don't know why I made man. All that stuff happened. He's probably sitting there now wondering, here we go again. How many times during all this history, why did I make you when you can't follow and do what I want you to do? He's had setbacks, but he continues on. Not just because he's the head of the universe, he continues because of us. And we have setbacks, and we got to fix them. Also, I want you to think of yourself as a creative genius. It's okay to ask somebody a question why you are that creative genius. That's how geniuses learn. They learn off of other people. They watch people fail. They watch people rise to success. How did they get there? Those little accomplishments that they make doing something, they add up to a success story. They took little steps to do something. You remember Apple was already here. Bill Gates did the Google, the Microsoft thing. All of that is off of Bill Gates sitting in his garage with his friend. And Apple was kind of thrilled because Apple was here. IBM was here. But they did something for the internet. They had watched the accomplishment of Apple and they were making it better to make a processing system. To do things, little steps. And Apple was thrilled. That was one of their steps. They moved on up with it. Yes, they're rivals, but one's helping the other one still. If you're trying to be a millionaire, you may have already been one. I told you if you add up all your paychecks from the time you started working until now. What you're trying to do is get some of that money back. So if that's your goal, try to get some of it back. Make some steps. Pick something you love to do. Or specialize in your work that you're doing now. How can I make it better? How can I move up? Don't have any fear to move up. And don't worry about age. People on here worry about age all the time. How old are you? How old are your kids? How old is your mom? How old is your dad? What's that got to do with it? How about asking me, how are you going to get where you're going to get? When you going to get there? What do you think about this? How did you get there? That's what I want to know. Stop worrying about people's age all the time. I don't know where that came from. It did not come from the brown people because they revere age. It does not come from minorities. Most minorities, the older you get, the more wiser you are. Okay, the person is the matriarch or the patriarch of the family. It is not they are not put out the pasture. And I don't care how old they get. I don't know where this age thing came from. I stopped having birthdays at 25. I haven't had a birthday since. It's like we'll have cake and stuff here. It's not a full blown out thing. They may get me a card. That's what we do. I don't deal with age. Half the time I don't answer. When somebody asks me how old is everybody in the house, what's that got to do with what I'm doing? What's that got to do with what my kids are doing? I want them to know that when they get 99.9, they can still go out there and do what they can do. Within reason, of course. As you age, things change, but your mind may still be going, and you can do what you want to do. You may have wanted to write that book, back then you didn't write. You may wanted to be a singer. We got different ways you can sing now. You can get on platform. You can do YouTube and sing. You don't have to be with a record company. You are still fulfilling your dream of what you want to do. Maybe you wanted to learn how to bake cookies all the time. Maybe you want to take that dream just a little bit further and start selling those cookies. All right? Maybe you wanted to make cakes and sell those out there. Your dream does not stop because of your age. And nobody should be questioning anybody. Because I take offense. It's not of how old a person is. It's what are they trying to accomplish. It's not trying to accomplish in my family going off to retirement and sitting there looking at the water all day. That is not it. Okay? Like my mom said, we can take vacations in between working. I knew when they retired, they were not going to stop working, and they didn't. They went off and started some other stuff. Here we go. My grandparents' parents haven't stopped working. They pay taxes like everybody else. With their Social Security, if they make more, they pay taxes out. They do what they got to do. And if you ask them, why are you still working? Because I want to. That's what they always say. I want to. No matter how much money you make, they said you can make more. And if you make too much and you think you're making too much, give it away to somebody else. That's the way I was raised. If you thinking you're making too much money, give it away. If you can't figure out what to do with it, give it to somebody. Somebody else may need it. That's your purpose in life right there. You love somebody else, you give them. You may not know who they are, but you give. And you keep learning as you go. So pick something you love, specialize in that work. If you are a secretary or executive assistant, if you are a teacher's aide, a teacher's assistant, you specialize in that work and move on up. Start doing the best you can. Let somebody tell you, you got a little pep in your step. What are you getting ready to do? And don't think that because you're a teacher's assistant, you can't move up. Figure it out. Go back. How can I be a teacher? They're starting a program here where if you go to the community college, you can start teaching now while you're at the community college. So a lot of the aides are going back to the community college because they just took 12 hours to be a teacher, plus they're going to be paid to be there. Now, what if they had stopped? I'm just going to be a teacher's assistant. I've got 4 or 5 people that I know, they're going back. They went back to that community college, signed up this summer, and they are with the system as a teacher, specializing, learning, doing what they have to do, because there was a teacher shortage, of course, because things are not doing what they are supposed to. I really think if you went through so many years of college, they need to be paid. Just like a lawyer and a doctor. If you specialize in something, you really need to be paid. Not just because I was a teacher, but that's a lot going on sometimes. And people look down on teachers. I remember I was talking to somebody, and, I love teaching. I told you I quit my corporate job to teach. And I was talking to somebody about, about the kids and, about the projects. And this young girl had come up and she says, that's the worst job. We can't stand our teachers. I said, that's on you. I said, you must have had a bad experience with a teacher. Well, they just don't do anything. They don't know what they're doing. I said, yes, they do have some of those in every profession. I said, they got some doctors don't know what they're doing. They got some lawyers that don't know what they're doing. But they don't treat, I told her, you don't treat your lawyer and your doctor the way some of you treat teachers. We went to school too. We go 4 years to college. Some of you went 3 years to get your master's. Some of them got PhDs. And I said, they don't treat teachers the same. They go in there telling them what they should do, when they should do it. You don't go in there telling your doctor nothing. When they tell you, oh, you got a tumor, you're running. Well, what do I do? When's the surgery? You don't say nothing. You don't say nothing to the dentist. I say something to my dentist all the time. No pain. No pain here, bro. I'm leaving. I learned to speak up. But nobody speaks up. You don't speak up to your lawyer because you have that sense of all power. The only one's got power is God. And sometimes they make mistakes. They're just men and women in those positions. My principals would make mistakes and I would go, I don't think so. It's not going to work. I'll be friends with you, but I'm not doing that one. You're not getting me into nothing. I have thought, I'm not doing this. God gave me a decision in my head that, no, that one's not going to work. And I do the same thing with my doctors. You know, they go, well, and I said, second, third opinion, let me check. I was in the hospital and they wanted to do some type of test. I'd heard about it, where they put the needle in your hip, checking the bone marrow or something. They thought I had cancer. I'd already asked one doctor already. He was older. I said, did I have cancer on that chart? I didn't read it because you could see everything they did while looking at the TV screen. And I'd been sitting in there reading in my room, and here comes this young doctor wanting to do this test. And usually when they want to do tests, my mind is going, you want to do tests because I got good insurance and you're going to get paid and I'm not interested. And why am I doing this test? I have a blood clot, And I said, I don't want to do that. I said, I can feel pain at any minute in my hip. And I said, I got enough pain and I don't want to do this. And so the older doctor had come in and I said, do I need this test? And he says, no. He said, I wouldn't do that. I told him about it. I showed him on the screen what the hospital had written stuff for you to read. And he said, no. He said, I wouldn't do it. And I said, okay, I was right. So they came in the next day to wheel me out and I went, nope. And, I couldn't drink or eat anything. And so then close to 12 o'clock, the nurse comes in, you're supposed to go down for this test. It's like, I'm going to tell you what to do. That don't work for me sometimes. But anyway, I looked at her. I'm not taking the test. I already told the other people I'm not taking the test. By this time, it's going on 2 o'clock. Haven't ate, but I was okay. I'm like, I'll just sit here and starve myself to death. We are okay. And so then my favorite nurse came in. And the phone rang. He had a phone over there with his little computer, and it rang. And they called about the test again. And he said, he turned to me because he had just got on shift. He didn't know about it yet. He hadn't read the chart. And so I told him, I said, no, I'm not taking the test. I told him that this morning, early, when they came at around 6 something. And so he turns around, he says, okay. And he says, she's not taking the test. And so then I said, are they going to feed me or am I going on a starvation thing? Which is fine. I said, I just want something to drink now. There's no water. There's nothing. I can do without the food. And he says, you haven't ate and you told them this early this morning? I said, yes. And it was like he was furious. He was furious. And then the main doctor, he wasn't even the main doctor. He's like up under, you got your main and then somebody else. And he says, well, we just want to check to make sure the blood clot medicine won't go up to your head or do all this stuff. And I'm thinking, lame excuse. This has nothing to do with that. I said, I know bone marrow test because my mom had one, And I'm sitting there going, no, I'm not doing it. Let me out of here, okay? We're not doing this. And so then the girl, she came in. She was the other doctor with him. And I went, no. How many times does somebody have to tell you no? I'm saying, this is not easy. 2 letters, 1 word, no. And I finally got to eat about 7 that night. But I was like, I'm not doing it. So they should be paying teachers the same amount of money. And stop fiddling with everything and stop looking down on them. They're the ones that's teaching you things. Teaching you to get to your dream. Teaching your child to get you to your dream. When parents go in there, yes, kids act up. Kids do things. Listen and not get so down on some of these teachers. They're trying their best. They're doing their best. And you have to do your best to get to the bottom of things. Yes, you love your child. I love my children. But I gave them the benefit of the doubt. Let me go talk to the teacher. I did not put them down. I held them up. Not just because I was a fellow teacher. It was, okay, you're a human being. Hold them up. So there's one thing that if you are starting and trying to be a success, you've got to have courage to do it in your life with the self-esteem. You got to have some confidence so you can start and keep that confidence going. And don't let it stop. And be unstoppable. Just keep doing it. If nobody answers your question, you figure out where to go and don't sit there and give up your dream because nobody didn't tell you. Like I did with the scratch offs. I'm like, not saying a word, okay? There's a couple of things they don't say a word to. It's like I think they think you're going to get better than I am. You're going to blah, blah, blah. And some of my YouTube people that I was really close to, those are the ones that didn't answer me. And for a minute I was shocked. And I said, no. I said, there's fear that you're going to get more than they're going to get. And that's not what my intent was. I was just having fun. I want to try the scratch off. Let's try it. I think it's fun. I want to do it too. I want to learn how to do this. But you can't be stoppable. You got to be unstoppable. That was not going to stop me. I'm going to learn. I may be terrible at it, but I'm going to learn how to do it. I'm going to learn how to get this around here and go about what I'm doing. And I wanted to do Etsy totally different. I wanted my Etsy to be about homelessness. It's not about me. Nothing's about me. It's about my confidence in what I'm doing and when I'm going to do it. And I'm going to have the courage to do it. What if I just sat around and didn't get on YouTube with my finances? I would have been a horrible mess this year. I had to have courage. Even when my kids looked at me, you're going to get on YouTube? Yep. I had confidence. I'm going to do it. I'm going to be unstoppable. When I had 3 followers, I'm unstoppable. I'm going to get some more followers. And my kids are looking at me cross-eyed, praying, like, please give her followers. Please. They don't have to come back. Just stay there quietly. I didn't complain. I was like, okay, I got 3. Oh, I got 5 today. Oh, 1's gone. I got 4. Oh, I got 10. That's where I was going. Ooh. I was marking little sheets before I even had the subscriber sheet. I had my own little scratch, whatever coloring sheet I had made, little raggedy sheet, piece of paper. I was just happy for each accomplishment, each step. I felt like I was getting closer. And even getting to 1,000 subscribers, I said, oh, that's going to be horrifying. I will never. And then I had to tell myself, you just put yourself down. You just threw some failure in there. There is no failure in your house. There is no stack of cards that is blowing down on the ground. You did the failure. Nobody's told you anything. Nobody did. Nobody told me I was sitting there going, you're not going to get to 1,000. That was me. And I said, okay, wipe that away. I'm going to get to 1,000. There they were. I don't have an agenda. I don't get up. I just start talking. That's my niche. I just talk. I don't edit. I just talk. And I've always been like this way anyway. I don't care what you think. If you don't like what I do, walk away. I've been that way on my job teaching. If you don't like the way I'm doing it, walk away. But usually what happens is they did like what you were doing. They were jealous. There's some jealous ones on here. I told you the first one that I ever talked to, she is not subscribed to me ever. But I was a big enough person, I subscribed to her. I look at all her videos, still doing the same thing. She's way ahead of most of us. And I'm sitting there going, okay, I don't talk on her channel. I don't say nothing. I just look and keep going. Sometimes I don't look. The YouTube thing will throw it up there and I'll look finally. I'm like, oh, okay. Still living, you're okay. But she's very rude, nose in the air, like she's the YouTube Mr. Beast, and she is nowhere near that man. Okay, no way near PewDiePie and all them people. Will be years getting there, may not make it in years at the rate we're going. She's not the most fantastic person to look at. People are following her because looks or whatever, mostly looks. But looks fade. It's, I do like the hand thing, but looks fade, and she's building her platform has been built on looks. She's a low income person at the same time, but she, some people think they're it. I'm eating a bag of chips because I'm cute. One of my relatives, one of them, I got two relatives that are celebrities, and one of them had a girlfriend that was from another country, but I remember we were at the reunion they had for us, and I was sitting there listening to her. And she was my cousin, they were dating. And she said, oh, they just like she wasn't Hispanic. She's from South America somewhere. But she says they like our type. They don't like black people. Which was funny because they are black. I'm sitting there going, really? They're brown, they're black, all races are here. We're all in reunion. We got Caucasian, we got this, we got that. And I kept thinking, I said, well, that's just rude. And I call it, you don't love everybody. You think you're better than everybody. And you're going to take one certain race you know nothing about and just say, no, they would never marry. And you didn't even know that we're all related. She hadn't got the memo we were all related either. It was like reunion, and people were listening, and they were upset. And my cousin had heard about it because some of the men went back and, did you hear what she just said? And she disappeared. He never, I don't know where she went, but she disappeared. But you have to have confidence. Brown people have to have a lot of confidence and courage. I think one reason they have gotten through the way they've gotten through, because they do have confidence and courage. Some of my Caucasian friends, they look at me and they go, you did this. You went on your own. I would never. I can't do that. I wasn't raised that way. Okay, there's some things I wasn't raised with either. I just went on. My parents were appalled, when they did find out. You quit your job. That's not what you do. But I said, I'm okay. I got this. This is what I'm doing now. I'll tell you about it, blah, 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 blah. My friends were going, what? Because I hadn't told them their plans. The plans. Because, see, sometimes when you tell your plans, people stop you. They'll start talking about you and they'll go, now And see, that seed of doubt will get in there. I was going, nope. I'm going to be quiet. So, you don't let out all the goodies in one bag. Okay, like, here, open the bag, here goes this. I had to stop because this was my goal, my plan. I was the one that was going to execute the plan. If I need some help, I'll go get somebody. I'll talk to somebody. If I had to talk to my parents, okay. If I had to talk to my grandparents, do you know anything about blah, blah, blah? Friends, whatever. So-called friends, I'll talk to them too. What are you doing? Tell me about this. A stranger? All right, I'll listen because I'm trying to find out and get where I need to go. So that's what you need to do. Whatever job you have, try to move on up. Don't sit there and feel bad. I'm just this. There's got to be a way to move up. I tell my kids that all the time. My son, they're training him to be a manager. He never thought. I kept saying, move up. Move up. You can't stay there all the time. Whatever job you're in, move up. Keep asking, how do I move up? What I got to do? Do I need to take a test? A lot of these companies have tests because they try to weed people out. Now they're getting rid of them. They're looking at them like, okay, you work here. This is good. This is what happened on his job. He had been at several places for jobs. He's going to school. He's trying to go different places for jobs. It was not working out. Plus, they were hiring a lot of riffraff, and the riffraff didn't want to work. So he was overworking. He finally got to this one job, and they went, oh, come on. We're going to make you a lead manager. He had no experience. Did you say manager? He was terrified. I said, no. Move up. Take that position. They got confidence in you already and you know nothing. You think you know nothing. He did know something. He learns quickly. Quick. There's some things he's a little slow at, but this was quick. And he didn't have to take a test. Oh, no, you don't have to take a test. We're going to teach you everything you need to know. And then he was so excited about it. He's sitting there working. And the other people were coming to him. Boss, we're going to take a break. And he's looking at him like, why are you telling me? He didn't know he was at that position. That he was a boss now. He was one of the managers there. They had to come to him. Boss, we're taking a break. And they're looking at him like, and he's going, okay. He's like, well, go ahead. He didn't know what they were doing. And he learned, and I had to pick him up. That's before he got his car. He got in the car and he said, Mom, I was so shocked. And I finally figured out I was a boss. I was a manager. He was putting stuff away, but he was the manager. And he was one of the managers that were there. He was not the lead top, which is one over the place, but he was a manager. And he was like, I'm a manager. He was so shocked that somebody was coming to him to do something. And the pride and the happiness in his face in that car. And I said, well, that's very nice. I see you're feeling great. And I said, stay hold of it. Stay hold of it. You got it. And I said, is this your dream? He said, this is a dream. I said, okay, that's your dream. You're enjoying it. And he does. He enjoys it. He gets up. He goes to work. No complaining. We laugh about things going on. But have fun at the job. I go, how was the job? Fine. What happened? Anything happened? Anything funny happened? Type thing. My daughter's the same way. She didn't know. She kept on. She was an artist all through school. She started drawing around 2 years old. Little people and different things. making little shows and, on the internet, drawing, anything new, drawing. And she kept going, what am I going to do? And I said, you do what you want to do. You do whatever. I said I would say try to make a business, but do whatever. She decided to make a business. She went to college online, became a graphic artist before she left high school. Graduated with the high school diploma and her college diploma on the same day. And she does artwork. She does artwork for celebrities. She solicits. She draws. She draws for people that can't afford anything. If you can't afford, she does websites. She does all this stuff. And she basically self-taught. She just basically got online and just went boom. She really didn't need to do, but in her mind, she needed that degree. My son was just the opposite. I don't need the degree. I want to just go. And I said, you do you. Do like my parents. My parents did not have money for me to go to college. I didn't have money for my daughter to go to college. I had money set aside. I can do it. But she was like, I'm going to work and pay for myself. I want to do it myself. Okay, pay for it. Go ahead. If you need help, I'm over here. I'll wave. And that's what I did. I waved. If she waved back, okay, fine. She paid for her whole college. She was out. There were no student loans in her life. And my son, he's thinking he wants to open up a business, which he does. He has on the side. They all have different things, but you got to do you, or you won't be happy. You can't do things because you have to just keep a job too. Do a hobby. Maybe it'll grow into something. Do you. Maybe you crochet. Maybe you need to sell your crochet goods. Maybe you're a farmer. You're in the garden. There's a lady down the street. She has this garden. She just gardens. And during the summer, what does she do? She takes all the things outside in the front yard, and she's got little signs on them with tomatoes. 3 tomatoes are $2 and something. This is blah, blah. She's got it all in little crates out there. And she's made a business now. Everybody waits till she comes and puts the stuff in the front yard. Now she's selling flowers. That's her little business. And it's not little anymore. There's a whole bunch of flowers and stuff going down. We call it the flower house. Oh, she's growing that this summer. Look, we can go get the hostas out of there. We got another man that he just does hostas. He dug up his front yard and he put hostas all around, and you go pick which one you want. It's from the front to the back. That's their dream. And then they sit around and they talk. When you come in, hey, how you doing? Yeah, let me take you to the back. You need a hosta? I got this type. He knows every type of hosta. The hosta house. So you get your hosta house going. Think of your dream. What thing did you have to do? Maybe it was to teach kids how to do karate. Maybe you were doing karate when you're younger. Maybe you repaired bikes. Keep your dream going. Don't let your dream die. You got to have a vision because it will perish. Take care.